We've all been there, and it's terribly uncomfortable. A situation where someone says or does something highly inappropriate without thinking, and what results is dead silence. This is the type of silence that makes one want to sink out of their chair or teleport themselves to another dimension to avoid the utter discomfort of finding themselves in an awkward moment. No amount of forced chuckles or subject changing can save one from a humiliating awkward moment. It's a different story when you're in sports and awkward moments take place. On live TV, there are cameras capturing the moment as it unfolds for live television. And unfortunately, it's unscripted, and there are no takebacks or do-overs. The athletes and coaches will never be able to escape the embarrassment of an awkward incident that likely becomes immortalized on YouTube and replayed for years to come. Which brings us to make this video. Reggie Evans grabs Kaman's nuts. If you're playing in the NBA, you're playing among the world's biggest and strongest ball players, so you need to do whatever you can to gain an advantage when it comes to boxing out, to grab rebounds, or getting favorable positions in the paint. Some crafty players have gotten away with elbows and tugging on a player's shorts. But grabbing a person's junk? That may be taking things a bit too far. That's what power forward Reggie Evans did to center Chris Kaman in a 2006 incident, which resulted in Kaman getting a flagrant foul for shoving Evans. When given a chance to comment about it after the game, Kaman stated, "He grabbed my nuts. This dude reached from behind me, grabbed my nuts and pulled them back towards... He tried to rip them off basically. I couldn't believe it." Reggie Evans would have to pay a $10,000 fine and was assessed a flagrant 2. After explaining the situation to the refs, one referee stated he would have knocked him out had it been him who was violated. Fortunately for the rest of the NBA, Reggie Evans is no longer in the league, so players can rest easy knowing their testicles will be safe. Robinson jumping all over Pierce. In the closing minutes of a heated back-and-forth matchup, every possession counts. These are moments both fans and players live for, a potential clutch play that will deflate or erupt a rabid crowd and fire up teammates. Usually if one is successful, there's high fives all around, chest bumps, smacks on the rear, and all kinds of amped-up celebrations. Sometimes a player joins in with his congratulatory teammates and revels in the game-changing play. Other times a player is so in the zone he disregards any pats on the back. This was one of those instances. In 2010, the Boston Celtics and New York Knicks were playing down to the wire in a close game. In the final possession, the ball was in Paul Pierce's hands, and as customary of the truth, he was able to seal the game with a clutch jumper. With the games decided, Paul Pierce ran to the other end of the court like an airplane to showboat his great play. Teammate Nate Robinson wanted to celebrate with Pierce and jump on his back, but apparently Pierce wasn't interested. What resulted was an awkwardly hilarious sequence that nearly broke Nate's neck. Hopefully Nate has learned something from this and will keep his feet planted to the ground rather than his face and celebrate safely. LeBron James' jacked up hairline. James's movable hairline has become constant fodder for jokes over the years, as he's known to have a luxurious hairline one minute and a struggle half-moon lineup the next.
Are you a business owner looking to stand out? Let your brand shine, literally, with a custom neon sign from Glow Neo, transforming your logo into a vibrant LED masterpiece that grabs attention day or night. Whether it's a storefront, office, or event space, neon signage sets you apart from the competition. Plus, with our free design preview and fast turnaround, it's never been easier. Ready to light up your business? Visit glowneo.com and go to the Business Neons page and fill out the form. Get started today.
And whatever he's doing, it didn't do him well in a game against the Utah Jazz. In fact, his hair unit, because that's what it is, right? Or are those fibers? Men are out here rocking whole-ass lace front fades, spray-on hairlines, and other weaving methods to temporarily secure their hairlines. But I often wonder if his wife Savannah ever tries to have conversations around this. Or if she too has to act like she doesn't get the 39 bazillion messages from her girls, asking what's up with your mans and his hair. Really wish LeBron would just let this one go. His hair today, gone tomorrow antics are high-key embarrassing. There's no consistency, just continued moments for live fails. And his no comments on his hair are even funnier, as if when he remains silent, we will too. Nah bruh, the jokes are vicious on Twitter. And it's not like LeBron has an itty-bitty peanut head either. I personally think he would look just fine with a smooth bald shave. Michael, Kobe, come on LeBron, we promise we will still love you. Latrell Sprewell chokes his coach. Latrell Sprewell was one of the most fierce competitors during his time. He was an elite scorer and a very good defender in his prime. During the 1997 season, Sprewell was criticized by head coach PJ Carl Simo during practice. Sprewell didn't take the criticism positively, and he ended up choking, threatening, and punching Carl Simo. He was immediately suspended for 10 games, but 2 days later, the team terminated Sprewell's $23.7 million contract and suspended him for a year. Spree made an appeal, and the sanction was reduced to 68 games. He was never the same player after the suspension. Mavs players getting in the way of Westbrook's dancing routine. Russell Westbrook is known for being an absolute monster on the basketball court. He's also known for his eccentric sense of style, and even more eccentric pre-game rituals, consisting of a whole lot of silly, synchronized dancing with fellow teammates. As ridiculous as the little dance is, it apparently works to get Russell pumped up for the game and try for another triple-double. However, during the 2016 playoffs, some Dallas Mavericks players have been fed up with Russell's little dance party and decided to try and crash it. Mavs players Charlie Villanueva and Justin Anderson walked in between Russell Westbrook's pre-game routine and were given light shoves out of the way by an annoyed Russell. Villanueva would make some comments in the media, criticizing the dancing after the video of the awkward exchange went viral. Westbrook and the Thunder weren't bothered and would respond by eliminating the Mavs in convincing fashion. Tim Duncan ejected for laughing on the bench. Retired NBA official Joey Crawford had long carried a reputation as a no-nonsense referee that would not tolerate players complaining and questioning his calls. He also had a confusing beef with one of NBA history's greatest power forward, Tim Duncan, so much so that he famously ejected Duncan merely for laughing on the bench in one of the most head-scratching, bizarre sports incidents caught on camera. It was during a regular season game in 2007 when Joey Crawford gave the Spurs franchise player back-to-back technical fouls simply because he was laughing on the bench during a game against the Dallas Mavericks. Just laughing. To make matters worse, he even challenged Tim Duncan to a fight if he had a problem with the decision. Yes, a tiny 60-year-old ref threatened the 7-foot Tim Duncan to throw the hands. Though Duncan was the one rejected, Crawford would be suspended by the league for the rest of the season and would spend his time away from officiating to see a sports psychologist to work out his temper issues. Dwight Howard and Stan Van Gundy have the most awkward interviews ever. There's brutal, cringeworthy moments, and then there's moments that are so awkwardly painful that perhaps death would be the sweetest escape. That's probably what Stan Van Gundy felt in one of the most awkward sports interviews of all time. Van Gundy talked candidly to reporters about Dwight Howard and how he's certain that Howard wants him fired, mere seconds before Howard would appear on camera with his coach, all smiles and totally oblivious to what was being discussed. The horribly awkward moment speaks for itself. Van Gundy, who was butting heads with both Howard and the front office over his coaching and role, felt the writing was on the wall for his tenure in Orlando and explained to reporters that he felt Howard wanted him gone. Van Gundy was powerfully forthright in this no BS interview when all of a sudden, speak of the devil, Dwight Howard appears and put an arm around his coach, playfully jibing with a big smile on his face. Van Gundy would quickly change subjects and slip out of the interview, probably to go find a gun and contemplate this being the end. Reporters then turned their attention to Dwight to ask him if it was true he wanted Van Gundy fired. Dwight was taken aback by the questions and uncomfortably denied everything. Both Howard and Van Gundy would be gone from the Magic later that year, and this hard-to-watch interview puts a fitting cap on their stint. The most awkward 2 minutes in NBA history. The J.R. Smith you see right here is what we call off the Henny J.R. Smith. The Cavs guard thought his team had the lead when he pulled down a rebound in the final seconds of Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The only problem was that it was a tie game, one that went to overtime because Smith ran the rebound out to half court to run the clock. LeBron James was so upset that he almost joined the Lakers before the start of overtime, instead of waiting until free agency to leave a team that he carried on his back to the 2018 Finals. The most awkward part about this situation was what happened after the play. J.R. Smith and LeBron were only a seat away from each other during the transition to overtime and sat there for a good 2 minutes not saying a single word to each other. Good thing my man's JR wasn't sitting right next to the king, because only Lord knows what a heated LeBron would have done to him. I mean, just look at him. Dude looks like he wants to punch a wall with all the frustration and disappointment he just witnessed. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for tuning in.